Rosmarina, Italian Fairy Tales. Once upon a time, a king and a queen had no children. One day, while walking through the garden, the queen saw a splendid rosemary plant with many little plants around it, and she said, "Oh, that rosemary plant has so many children, and I, being a queen, don't have even one." Not long after, the queen became a mother, but instead of giving birth to a child, a rosemary plant was born. The queen placed it in a beautiful vase and watered it every day with freshly milked milk. One day, the couple received their nephew, the King of Spain, as a guest. Intrigued by the plant, he asked, "Aunt, what is this plant?" The aunt confided in him it was her daughter, Rosmary, and that she was watering it 4 times a day with fresh milk. The nephew liked the plant so much that he kidnapped it and took it with him to Spain on his vessel. The young man had a great passion for music, and when he was free, he wandered in the garden playing the flute. Every day, he concluded his concert in front of the beloved rosemary plant. But one day, a beautiful maiden with long hair appeared next to the shrub and began to dance. The king asked her who she was, and the girl replied that she was Rosmary and lived in the plant. In fact, after the music ended, she stopped dancing and returned to it. From that day on, the young man used to quickly deal with the affairs of the kingdom in order to be with the enchanting maiden, dancing, talking, or holding hands. One unfortunate day, the king was forced to leave to protect the borders of the kingdom. Before leaving, he went to the girl and said, "Dear Rosmary, do not leave your plant until you hear my flute playing 3 notes. It will be the signal that I have made my return safe and sound." Then he called the gardener and entrusted him with the task of caring for the rosemary plant with all possible attention. Otherwise, he would be put to death, and he left right after that. The young king had 3 very curious sisters who had been wondering for a long time what their brother was doing in the garden playing the flute. As soon as he left, they searched his room and found the well-hidden flute. Each of the 3, trying to play it, produced a note. Do, do, do. And so, from the garden's plant, Rosmary emerged. The 3 sisters immediately understood their brother's secret, and, as malicious as they were, seized the girl and beat her mercilessly. Exhausted, the poor thing returned to her plant. When the gardener saw the withered plant, he understood that his life was in danger, so he warned his wife and fled. The first night, he hid above a tree. At midnight, under the tree, he heard 2 dragons, a male dragon and a female dragoness, exchanging small secrets. The dragoness asked what was new, and the dragon recounted the story of the dying rosemary plant. The dragoness inquired if there was any remedy for the poor plant, and the dragon replied that there was, but it would have to be sprinkled on every leaf with the blood of a dragon and the fat sack of a dragoness. Deep into the night, the 2 dragons went to sleep. The gardener quickly descended from the tree and killed both dragons. He collected the things he needed from them and hurriedly ran to his wife. She boiled the blood and the fat. When the potion was ready, he spread it on the withered plant, and from the dried up plant, Rosmary appeared. She was very weak, but the gardener took her to his home, put her to bed, and prepared some good broth for her to eat. When the young king returned, the first thing he did was to check on his plant, and what a surprise to see it withered. Furious, he sought the gardener, and when he found him, The gardener led him to his home and showed him who was sleeping in his bed. The king, filled with happiness at finding Rosmary, he woke the girl, who told him what her sisters had done, and then praised the gardener for saving her life. As soon as the girl recovered, the king decided to marry her and wrote to his uncles to tell the story of how he had kidnapped Rosmary and how she had grown into a beautiful young woman over the years. In the letter, he also invited them to their wedding. The king and queen, who had been so desperate over the disappearance of Rosmary, became overjoyed when the ambassador delivered the letter with the invitation. They immediately set out on a journey to embrace their daughter and attend her wedding. A banquet was arranged, so grand that the table stretched as long as the entire Spain.